Hello there, everyone. Welcome again to We the Panel, a Terrace House podcast. Hi, my name is Jason, and I am here with a couple of great people. Please, as you can see it from episode one, we have another regular here and some new faces. And yeah, who do we have here? Go ahead,
Yeah,
James.
so I guess I'll start with myself. Yeah, I'm James. Y'all know me from episode one, avid Terrace House watcher, all that stuff. And yeah,
And yeah, so we have a couple new people here in this episode. We'd like to introduce you guys to Tim and Cheska. Hey, guys.
Hey guys, what's
Hi.
up?
All right, so these are the new members of We the Panel. As we discussed in the first episode, that I know we did a recap of another season of Terrace House, but this starting on as we're focusing on the first season of Terrace House, which is, I believe, Boys and Girls Next Door. This was filmed all the way in 2012, and you kind of can't even see it in Netflix. But yeah, it's to our humble beginnings with this episode right here. Before we start, we'd like to introduce on who Tim and Cheska is. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves, answer a few questions such as who you guys are, um, what's your experience with Terrace House itself, and also your expectations with watching these. You know, anytime.
All right, so I'm Tim. What's up, guys? Uh, my experience with Terrace House, I've seen like a couple episodes, just scattered here and there, mainly between Jason and James's influence, like watching episodes, but like haven't really binged it or watched it back to back. Seems pretty cool. Seems like a more wholesome, like Big Brother or like any other like American like reality TV show. And my expectations, I guess, are like nice, wholesome Japanese drama.
Nice.
wholesome.
Yeah, also, yeah, I don't know. Like they seem like really, really tame compared to like American like reality TV shows where like people are just throwing stuff and cussing each other out. And, yeah.
Awesome.
And my name is Cheska. I've been friends with these three people for a very long time, so
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
honored. Well, yeah, well, I'm honored to be part of this podcast. Um, in terms of Terrace House, I've only seen 15 minutes of one episode, like probably a year or two ago, so I basically know nothing about Terrace House. Um, I think it is also like wholesome from that 15 minutes that I've seen. So, yeah, that's going to be my expectations. More wholesome, less throwing stuff at each other like those American shows. And I am a fan of those American reality shows. So, it's going to be a different turn for me. So, yeah.
Awesome. So that's their experience. And basically, prior to recording this podcast, we all watched the first episode of Terrace House together. So before we describe you guys or what we're gonna let you know how we see the show, spoilers ahead. If you guys haven't watched the first episode, go do it right now. It's amazing. I don't know, find a way to watch it. Hopefully, we did. We're not gonna tell you how, but there are ways out there. Okay, guys. And yeah, and again, spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to know, please watch it and come tune to us right after to see what we're thinking about it. But other than that, we're gonna go straight to it. All right, guys. And here we go.
Cool.
So yeah, what do you guys think when you first watched this show?
I mean, the first thing that stood out to me was the soundtrack. Like they use Taylor Swift within the
Taylor
first
Swift, yeah.
minute of the show. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's pretty big. Like
yeah.
you could tell that a lot of the budget went to that music, because oh my goodness, bro, they brought Taylor Swift right in the beginning. And I remember when I first watched it, I was just like, bro, that's after watching other seasons of Terrace House, it's like, or at least watching them on Netflix, and you see, so they actually use different soundtracks for like Japanese Netflix and then the international Netflix.
Oh,
And you can tell that like for the Japanese one, it's like, okay, yeah, let's put all of our money into our soundtrack.
I just thought it was wild because I would never imagine any Japanese show using like Taylor Swift in their um, I guess as their soundtrack. So I don't know. It was like a huge bonus for me.
Is Taylor Swift big in
Yeah.
Japan? Like this was 2012, so
She's big everywhere.
that's
Like
true.
it's Taylor Swift, right? I don't know.
Good
Like
Like
her
point.
prime was around that time too, so it
that was
might have
true.
made sense.
That was 8 years ago, right? 2012. Like,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
jeez. Yeah.
There's a lot of telling things that it was 2012, but we'll talk more about that.
that's true. Oh man, yeah. Tim, what'd you think, man?
It wasn't like the usual Terrace House opening. I think the 1 or 2 episodes I saw was from like the Tokyo season, and like it was like that whole like big pan shot like of the city, and then the Japanese opening. I don't know what song it was. It was pretty cool. Yeah, so it was really jarring to hear that type of music, and compared to like the season that I watched before or like the episodes, you could see like a big difference in the camera quality and like the editing.
Mm,
and like yeah, you could tell it's like, oh, it was the first season. They got the formula down though later on, but
Yeah, definitely like humble beginnings. Like
yeah.
that was at least for the first few episodes, you can definitely tell that it's like humble beginnings. But yeah, Jay, what'd you think, man?
well, they're not getting that Netflix money, so you could clearly see that
Oh,
production value. But it was really interesting to hear the music the music was really interesting. They went from
Yeah.
Radiohead, Taylor Swift, New Jabez. They played some Sublime, like it's everywhere, and it makes sense. And yeah, it's very different. Like considering that this was the first episode of Terrace House, and watching the newer seasons from Netflix, there's a big difference that was actually missing. First of all, it was only about under 30 minutes. A usual Terrace House
mm,
episode is like an hour to like 45 minutes, and it makes sense because the biggest thing that was missing was there was no panel. Usually there's a group of, I guess, like Japanese celebrities talking about what just happened, and they usually just talk about, like, they're the audience, right? They're the voice.
mm.
So it doesn't feel like when you
Hmm.
watch Terrace House you're watching it by yourself. You have like, oh, this person understands, or it's relatable to what their opinions are. So that was a really big, like, whoa, step back. Not a step back, but it was just a different vibe. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
didn't
Like
know it
that's
was an hour. Sorry, I didn't know it was an hour like the newer seasons.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's because like like they have the extra like 15 to like 20 minutes to have just the panel be talking about what's happening, and they go
Ah.
in on it. Like they really like like they're very opinionated and all that stuff. But no panel in season 1, but we're here. you
Hence,
know
we the
True.
Or
panel.
the panel.
We the
we the
panel.
panel.
We the panel.
Yeah. But yeah, to take a step back, like yeah, like the episode was very introductory. You could tell like I don't think anything like really crazy happened in this episode until like the very end, but we'll get to that. But yeah, so like it was very introductory. We started out in probably like the back of a car or a limo with the celebrity you, as she was kind of just introducing the show, talking about like this is a show about 3 guys and 3 girls going into a house together, and they just record them to see what happens. So moving on from that, after that they have the Taylor Swift opening song, and then from there we see that the first one to move in is Masato,
Masato.
Masato,
Yeah.
who is
Masato.
the pro surfer. It was pretty funny because
Yeah.
as soon as you see the clip of him walking and he's holding like this body bag that holds a bunch of surfboards, and straight up Tim's like, "Yo, is that a surf bag, or is it like
What do
is
you
it a
call it?
body bag?" I was like, "Bro, honestly." But yeah, so Masato goes into the house. He's all alone, so he kind of sits down. And then after that, the next one to come in is Sena, who's a model,
Yeah.
uh, 25
She.
years old, and they come in.
Wait, 25 then. So like 38,
Yo,
33 now.
here we go.
Oh
33 now.
wow.
Oh.
Yay,
Don't think about her like
yay.
that.
uh, but yeah,
Uh,
but for any like avid Terrace House watchers, a lot of y'all may know about Sena, because it is not the first time she's seen on the show.
Oh.
Oh,
There's a
Yes.
is she making
return.
another appearance?
She's a
Oh,
recurring
she's
character.
she's Very much so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, so Sena shows up. They just say hello to each other, all that kind of stuff, and then after that comes Tetsuya or Techan, who's the student, the
The art
baby of the
student.
group, training to become a firefighter.
Oh no! Oh right, Skater Boy.
Yeah.
Skater boy,
First little
yeah.
thing about him
Exactly.
that I saw, I was like, yo, this guy's hairline is
Relax. Probably doesn't know a good
Yeah,
barber, or maybe it was like, an off day.
it wasn't too bad. Like
I mean,
it was okay.
that's true. And I feel like I shouldn't be talking. We're in quarantine right now, so I haven't gotten a haircut in like months.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I mean, I
yikes.
got bangs in the process of quarantine, so
You look
Yes.
great. You look great.
thank you.
But yeah, so after Taechan shows up, then comes Momo, who's this little girl with this high pitched voice,
kawaii girl?
super kawaii.
Yeah.
And then comes the last guy, who's Shota Nakatsagua, who's an art student. And then this is where it starts to get a little bit interesting, because then the last girl to come in is Rie.
The girl from AKB.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she walks in, and as soon as she walks through the door, Momo's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe
Oh,
it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
She was
As soon as she
starstruck.
walks in, she's like, I've been to your handshake event, so
yeah, handshake. Is that like a direct translation from Japanese, like to meet and greet?
I
Is
think
that
it's
what they call, or is that?
Yeah, I think it's a meet and
Alright.
greet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like I guess it's like a VIP, or at least I'm not sure exactly, but I know they do have like an event, like a concert, and there's an opportunity to meet the artist itself and just be like, thank you, and they're like, and I hope you enjoyed my show, and they're like, yes, we enjoyed your show, and they line up politely and just to meet them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
that could never go by easy in America,
No.
Oh no, it actually wouldn't.
Regular handshake events, everyone's like, oh my god, no, let me go see you. Like, that just wouldn't pass.
Yeah, no. It's a picture and then you're done for the day.
That's it.
Honestly. Yeah, so then they all sit down, they all introduce each other. Everyone finds out that Rie is in the popular girl group AKB. I think it's called AKB48, which is a cool like Japanese performing group. And then yeah, so they just get introduced to each other, and then from there they go to see the rest of the house and all of the rooms. And let me just say, like, knowing and watching all of the other seasons of Terrace House, this is definitely a humble beginning. Like I'm gonna keep saying it throughout this episode, man. It's a very much like a humble beginning for the show. Like, as I noticed as the seasons go on, like the houses definitely just get better and better.
Well, they didn't get the Netflix money yet, cause
No, they
Yeah.
didn't.
like I'm not saying
None of the
Toyota.
sponsors.
I'm not saying Toyota's a horrible sponsor, but like you could see like you saw the car, right? Like you saw like the beginning of the intro, like, oh, that's a cute Toyota car. Later on, they get like a Jaguar. They get like really nice
Yeah.
cars, and like
No
even
way.
like how they film it, it was just like, wow, the house looks small compared to the other seasons. It's still a nice house. Like, don't get me wrong, it's
Oh, very
Yeah,
nice.
it is.
it's a lot of stairs, but like compared to other seasons, it's like, wow, this is not a
Mm.
Toyota anymore, is it? But yeah, the house was yeah, like you said, humble beginnings.
Definitely still a nice house though, but like there's definitely upgrades as we go further into different seasons.
Mhm.
But yeah, so then they look at all the rooms, and then they go to see the nice view. They're oceanside. They're at like a sunset, so like the sky's changing colors. Everyone's just super buddy buddy and all that kind of stuff. And then they go back into the I guess into like their dining area, and right out the bat, Masato is like, "Oh, yo, so who here has a boyfriend or girlfriend?"
Yeah, just
And
jump
here,
right into it. Like,
and here we find out that Shota entered Terrace House with a girlfriend.
Yeet.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
mhm.
like that's tough, man. You're moving in with models and like and big celebrities and all that stuff.
J-pop
Mhm.
stars, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like Tim, what do you think about that, man?
Going into like a reality show like that with a girlfriend. I mean, like I guess his objectives are different than the other guys. Then maybe he's just looking to get exposure. Like he's the art student, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe he's trying to feature his art pieces or whatever, or like I don't know, like still the first episode. Maybe something happens. Who knows? But yeah, different motive than the
Oh
other guys.
snap.
Well, you see, like the pressures already when they're having fun. He has to call a girlfriend, give her an update,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the first thing he said was like, "Oh, we're just chilling. Now we're just fooling around." And you could see like, oh, the girlfriend probably asked, "So who's there?" And of course he's like, "Oh, so there's this model, and there's this girl here from a J-pop group." So it's like, imagine the girlfriend hearing that. It's like, "Oh, my boyfriend's living in a house with these strangers, and they already like, I don't know. It could take a toll on their relationship. It could, you never
Yeah.
know."
It's true.
But besides that, what do you guys think about like the rest of the members, guys? Like, it's quite a eclectic cast here. We got an aspiring firefighter in Techan. We got a model in Sena. We got an art student with Shota. And we got Momo, an aspiring author, but she seems like an anime character to my eyes.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I could
Honestly.
definitely see
And
that.
you
Yeah.
got Ri, like the J-pop celebrity. Like, what do you guys think of that dynamic? Like,
Definitely like
I
a wide array of characters, and like
mhm.
from all sorts of backgrounds. Who's the pro surfer guy?
Right,
Masato.
Masato Kaba,
Masato. Yeah,
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 Yes.
yeah.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. For me, it's like since we only got 24 minutes of just them bonding, like we don't really know too much about them yet. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like being skeptical about their dynamic right now. So I think I need another episode to like fully confirm something.
Nice,
Mm,
nice.
Yeah.
I definitely think what's the art student's name again?
Shota?
Shota. I
Shota?
think
Yeah.
if if nothing happens between him and his girl throughout the whole season, or as long as he's at the house, then like I think he might try and live vicariously through the other two guys. Like especially at the end there when he just exposes Tetsu like on
Oh,
what
yes.
girl he
Oh
Oh
likes.
man.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
He
That's
like
that's
whispers into him
intense.
and he just says it straight to the camera.
That's intense, man. You
Yeah.
can, yeah, I feel like really just from that one scene, you can kind of tell like what kind of character Shota is gonna be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's super like, I guess you could say like boisterous, but he's also like he's funny in the sense that like he doesn't really care. And I guess
Mhm.
that kind of works for him, like having a girlfriend. He's kind of there to make things interesting, but not in like a relationship type of sense, but in more of just like let's make the house fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like the best friend to the side main character in the romance anime or whatever.
That's
I
true.
could see him spicing things up.
So who do you think
I
is the
actually
main? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I actually have a question because
Yeah.
in American reality shows, they're not allowed to use their phones. Like Big Brother, they're not allowed to use their phones, or even Drag Race, they're not allowed to use their phones. So like, why do you think they would be allowed to use their phones here?
Great question.
Mm.
So, I think the main point of this, like, so I have a question for you. Why aren't they allowed
Mhm.
to use their phones in those reality TV shows?
I know for Drag Race, I'm pretty sure that RuPaul and like all of those producers made a set of rules so they can focus mainly on the competition and not get distracted. And like they're not allowed
Oh,
to have visitors in, they're not allowed to make phone calls unless they arrange it for them.
Mm.
okay.
Yeah.
So the interesting about Terrace House is, it's basically they would just want to film all these people just living. There is no contest. There is no kind of deadline that they need to do. If they want to, whenever they want to leave, they can just leave whenever. If they want to stay the whole season,
Oh.
yeah, go for it. I'm actually curious if they actually get paid in like is it just free
Hmm.
housing? Because there have been cases where it's like they talk about their income in previous season or seasons before, and we're like, hold on, they don't get paid to stay in the house, or is it just free? But the interesting dynamic is they can actually see themselves like in a Terrace House episode while they're filming an episode of Terrace House. So like
What?
there's episodes before where
Oh.
they all like group up in like a playroom or whatever, the living room, and they're all watching Terrace House and they're seeing their past like actions,
Interactions.
and they're
Oh.
basically
Oh.
interacting with what they just saw, and it sometimes like it hurts their image. Sometimes it changes their emotions and how they act towards it. So like the image itself there is like another dynamic that you don't really see in American reality TV shows. So I think that's why they can
Yeah,
use it. Like they can use their phone.
Oh.
They don't
yeah.
mind.
I was
Okay.
actually like I was gonna kind of chime in on that, and like I feel like that's what makes Terrace House so different is the fact that they're very kind of self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
So the like I always thought that they were allowed to use their phones because it's like the show's supposed to be like completely natural, right? So it's like you go in there and like if you were in their situation, of course like you'd be pulling out your phone like right away. So it's like it's just natural, and it kind of makes the show feel more relatable to you. Because like all of these other like American reality shows, like yeah, like they're so focused on some sort of deadline or some sort of challenge, or something
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like lean towards to. But in this show, it's very just kind of like natural. Like it's really just six people coming in to move together, and nothing is really like there's nothing that's really holding them back from doing anything. So yeah, like the use of like their phones or even just going back to watch like episodes of Terrace House, like they're allowed to do all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I feel like that's what kind of like makes Terrace House very interesting and very niche. Is that like everyone's allowed to do whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I just thought I wanted to compare
Oh
the
yeah,
True.
two countries.
It's
that's a
probably for
great
work
point.
too, right? I mean, like if they're not getting paid to do that, it's not a competition, so there's no prize money. They have to
Yeah.
go, to their jobs like on a daily basis anyways. They can't
Mm-hmm.
just be,
That's
cut off from the outside world.
Yeah,
that's
Oh,
that's
true.
true.
oh,
And hey, speaking of that, that's actually the very next scene.
Ooh.
So they end the night, and the next morning everyone starts going to their jobs. It starts with the Masato leaving the house to go surfing early in the morning.
Like 6
No,
a.m.
is that really
yeah,
a
Like,
man.
job
gee,
Oh,
though?
Hey, man,
he's
he's a pro
practicing,
surfer,
bro.
so
he's
You
a
he's
know.
pro
gotta surf.
surfer.
Gotta pick up
But
my
yeah,
books.
so Masato goes and does his thing, and Shota actually goes to his part-time job where he goes and teaches an art class.
Mm,
Which I thought was really cool. He already has the classic like art teacher type of look, where it's like he
Mm-hmm.
has like a little band, and then he has his hands on the side while
it's the
watching everyone
hair, the
else.
curly hair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Eccentric look.
So, yeah.
yeah. So I feel like they put this in the first episode because like they wanted to highlight how this show's supposed to be completely natural, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because like when it comes to shows like like other Netflix shows like Love is Blind or like The Circle, right? Like these people are leaving their prior lives to do this thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
they're going back. Whereas like in Terrace House, it's like yeah, you're leaving your actual house, but you're still living the same life that you're living.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, like I feel like the producers put that in the episode to highlight that it's like, oh yeah, like they're still gonna go to their jobs or whatever, and they're not forced to just stay there all day.
Mm.
Yeah, the feeling of not
Yeah,
being forced. Then they showed
for sure.
another part of was it Ri? How do you pronounce it? Rie or Ri? I thought it
I
was Ri.
I feel like it's Rie.
Rie? Like Rihanna?
Yeah.
Rie.
Rie.
Really?
Okay, so let's go with
Rie.
Rie. Rie. So
Okay.
we know what her occupation is. She's a she's part of a J-pop group, I guess. But like they
Mm.
didn't show
Mm-hmm.
much. They just showed her just leaving the house with a
Yeah.
lot
Oh
of
yeah, and
bags
she's like, "I'll be
at
back."
six
To, like
thirty
no one.
a.m. I was like, that's a lot of stuff to carry. Like,
Facts.
but
Yeah, and then the day goes on, and then they're all back at the house. They skip straight to like the evening or like the late afternoon, and
Mhm.
they're all chilling at the table. And then Tichan comes and asks an interesting question. He asks Rie what would happen if she fell for someone in the house.
Mm,
And Rie basically answered that saying like, "Oh yeah, like I'm not allowed to date since I'm an AKB, but I wanna go through this experience wholeheartedly, so I would have to leave AKB in order to get a relationship." And the fact that Taechan asked that question is like, oh, we're stirring the pot here, you know?
yeah. He's making money
Yeah.
moves.
He
Yeah,
actually
man.
is.
He
Like
works quick, man.
like how he responded as soon as he heard like, "Oh, I'm not allowed to date, but since I'm in Terrace House, I might as well go for it." And you could see like the glimmer of hope in his eyes, just be like,
Yeah, his eyes just like perked up a bit, eyebrows raised, just like
yeah.
oh.
He's like, "So there's a chance."
We got the maybe.
There's a
I got a
maybe.
shot. Yo,
Yeah,
I
like,
hope
and
he
he's
shoots a shot.
oh, we'll find out the more we watch. But he basically like, I'm looking forward for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most graceful of manners. And like, yeah, it was an interesting scene. And even before that, weren't they asking like, besides Shota has a boyfriend, everyone else is single, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of like shipping, that can happen in this show. There's a lot of like, pairing here and there. And
Mhm.
like,
Mm,
yeah,
Yeah.
cause I can like, yeah, they're all very attractive people, and you never know what's gonna happen. But it seems like
anything can
Techan
happen.
seems to be making the moves or scouting around to see what the
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
possibilities are.
Tachan, he works pretty quickly, man. Like it was interesting because like when you first see him like entering the episode, when they sit down introducing each other, whenever they talk to him, he's like, "Hi, hi, hi," and then it's like, "Yo, we skip to the end of the episode. This guy's making his moves." Like, I feel like he's chimed in on like the innocent guy kind of look, but as soon as he finds the time to pounce, like he goes for it.
Oh my god,
Mm.
he reminds me of you guys watch Haikyuu? Okay, so there's this anime.
Yes. Yeah. I'm up to date with Haikyuu.
There's an anime
I
called
still need
Haikyuu,
to catch up.
but don't worry
Oh
about catching
man.
up. But there's a character. I think his name's Tetsuya too.
Tetsuya.
He's the guy
What
with the
team does he play
best.
for?
He's the guy with the
Oh no,
best
it's
cat.
Tanaka.
Tanaka, right?
Yeah, the left
He
wing
reminds me
spiker
so
for
much of
Karasuno. Yeah, I can see that. I
Bro,
can see
it's
that.
really the
Even with the
hair.
shaved head,
the
like
hair.
I'm like, oh, like. Mhm.
It's really the hair.
He's got like an outgoing personality, but then when it comes to the girls, he's just like a little bit dialed back, testing the waters.
Yeah, we got to know his relationship history too. I don't know how that
Oh
happened.
yeah,
Someone asked
four,
him.
Mhm.
four since middle school.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
that question saying like, yeah, I've only dated 4 people in my life, and I think it was mom was like, only 4, or something like that. I don't know.
Or
I
like,
guess it's
Like,
was
okay.
it only
no.
4? Or was it like four, so many.
Oh yes,
Like,
exactly. It could be like that
right?
too.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because it's like, yeah, I dated 4 people, and we found out he got dumped.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, he's making his moves so that way they know that he got dumped, and the girls are like, "Oh no, maybe we should comfort you," and he's like,
Is that his play? Is he?
maybe he's just planting seeds, And yeah, what's something that Terrace House does as well is like whenever like someone's talking about their prior love life, Terrace House always puts like a little caption being like, his last relationship was 2.5 years.
Mm,
Like they always do that. And when I saw that it was 2.5 years, I was like, oh, so this guy got out of like a pretty semi like serious relationship, man.
2.5 years is
Like
long term. Yeah.
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 So it's like I kind of want to see if that's gonna affect kind of the way that he goes about like his different relationships. Like we don't
Mhm.
know.
Do we get a backstory? I hope we get a backstory, like on what happened there. Maybe like he opens up to one of the other guys. Yeah, so like, why'd you get dumped, bro? And he's like, oh man, let me tell you.
I feel like he would open up to one of the girls though, not to one of the guys.
Oh.
Mm.
as a move.
Ooh, is that
Oh,
his
as a
play?
move.
okay.
So who do you think he's gonna open up to then? Out of all the three girls.
Uh, from my anime experience, he's going after Ray, but I think he'll find a relationship with Momo. I could see it
Yeah, I
happening.
kind of
I
agree.
can see it happening.
Ooh.
Mm.
Oh, if I had a backboard, I would just like the shipping theories.
Yo, that'd be sick.
Bah! Shipping theories. Just like right
We
Damn,
should
there.
just
what-
make notes of everything like we call out right now, and we'll see if it pans out by the end of the season.
All right, so
Who called something?
So
Oh,
you're saying
Yeah.
right now, okay, let's call it right now. So this is your prediction
Mm.
of your ship. So it's gonna be Tetsuya and Momo, like together.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that's what's gonna happen. Yeah.
All right, you're the captain of
Okay.
that ship then.
Well, like maybe they won't end up together, but like I can
Oh.
see something like happening between them. Like like I don't know.
okay.
Tetsuya's rebound. I don't know. I could see that. Like
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Chess, what do you see? Do you see anything different from that or no?
I agree with Tim
Ah.
just because I think Masato and forgot the model's name.
Sena.
Oh,
Sena.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
call that out too.
I think they're both slimy in some way, so they might end up together.
the modeling world and the sports world.
Yeah,
Whoa,
I
Janice.
feel like there's something happening. There's something like different about their vibes that I'm thinking they're slimy, and
I
I
think.
think
It's oh, sorry. Yeah. Go
oh
ahead. Sorry.
and I think Rie is not gonna end up with anyone, and hopefully Shota is gonna stay with his girlfriend, but we'll see.
Damn.
That's what I think.
I like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Masato and Sena. I thought I kind of think that they might do a little something because earlier in the episode, I think it was on the first night, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's listen to some music," and Sena was like, "Oh Masato, come with me, let's pick music." And as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, she's already calling him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's calling him over."
Oh, I
But-
thought it was because it was Masato's iPod. But that's true too. Yeah, you're right. Remember, guys, 2012, an iPod is still
20.
being used.
Oh man,
Oh,
that's actually
yeah.
that's
No
actually what I was gonna talk
Spotify,
about
no-
next, man.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna talk about next, man. 2012. You can tell that this was made in 2012.
Oh
man.
yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, the iPod and the camera.
Yeah, the tiny camera they're taking
Oh my
selfies with. Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like
Remember when
now
I
you
first
can
saw
just-
that, I was like, yo, it's so 2012. That's
Yeah.
damn. Every other season, they're using their iPhones for everything.
Yeah, like they use their phones to like book appointments, see if they're all free. I don't know. This one seems more organic. I feel
Yeah,
they're
before
using
all
an
that.
actual agenda of some sort. But yeah, it was pretty evident that it's like, oh wow, David Guetta. Okay, is that okay?
Oh yeah.
These are older songs in general, but okay, cool. I like it. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I'm so intrigued by this season because like I feel like in terms of technology, all of the other seasons kind of like mesh together in the sense that like, like they're using their iPhones for everything, taking pictures. No one really has like a camera. And everything that they do kind of revolves around their phone. So it's like seeing that this is made in 2012 and we already see there's like iPod Nano that does nothing but play music and play games, I guess. And then that
Yeah.
camera is like ancient. So it's like we get to see how things are kind of affected by that time period.
Now,
Mhm.
2012 was Instagram around? Twitter was around already. Instagram, like, was it big or not yet?
No, Instagram.
I think so.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't
that's,
around.
That's gonna be an interesting dynamic too, because a lot of like these Terrace House contestants, they all have IGs, and there has been like theories that they come into the show for self promotion, and a lot of people say like, oh, once they get their followers up, they dip or they leave the show. Now there isn't that kind of idea, so it's such a pure moment of watching this right now because it's such a humble beginning. No one knows how the direction of how this show is gonna go, and it's clearly showing because it's just like it's literally just 6 people living in a house, and later on it's like their occupations are mostly just, yeah, I do modeling at the side, but I have no job, or it's like really for self promotion. These people are literally here. Let's just, I think you're attractive. Put them in. See how it
Honestly.
goes.
Is that the cutoff for recruiting? You got to look attractive.
Well, I
Is that
don't
the
know. Like,
consensus,
there,
like-
I don't, is there a secret? Is there some way like how they do it? Like, it's interesting how they choose these people. Like, it's their personalities. Like, I guess they have to think about if they work well, if they're introvert, extrovert. Like, there's a lot of variables at play.
So how does
Yeah.
it work? You just send in like, or like you sign up, or you message them, hey, I want to be on an episode, or like, what's the recruitment process? Or
Oh man, as much as I would want to tell you, I would want you to wait to see how it actually goes.
oh, does it like show in like this
Oh.
season or in
Recruitment
other seasons, like how it works?
Not the recruitment process, but in terms of like how they find out and what happens when they find out, I would kind of want you to see that for
Oh.
yourself.
What do you mean, like when they find out? What do you mean by that? Like how like somebody else came onto the house or something like that?
No, kind of just like it's like someone finds out and then what they do once they find out. Because the show
Oh, they
kind of
actually filmed
the
it.
show kind of
Oh, yes.
highlights that. Not like right
Oh,
after, but
okay.
like a little bit after. They show like how they react to it.
But in
Okay.
terms of the recruitment process, I think a prerequisite is you have to speak fluent Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh
you
yeah,
have
that
to
makes
So I
sense.
could go. I could go if I learn how to speak fluent Japanese.
Yeah, totally.
Bro,
That way.
how many words can you say in Japanese, bro? You could say your
Yo,
entire vocabulary right now.
arigato gozaimasu.
Nice,
You're
nice,
in.
nice.
You're in.
That's all he's got. He's got arigato, itadakimasu, and orewa.
Orewa nani?
That's all he's
Kowai
got.
desu ne.
Okay. Let's
That's
go.
all he's got.
Let's do this. So let's say we're recruiting for Terrace House, and one of the
Oh
prerequisites
god,
is
no.
Japanese, and they choose you. What makes you stand out to all these other people that want to be in Terrace House? I think that's another thing. Like, what's your
Ooh.
story? You know what I mean?
I'm not Japanese at all. I'm from Canada, and
Oh, that's so interesting already.
Huh.
Wow,
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
overseas,
See?
yeah.
That could be your story. Like,
Yeah.
I think there has to be some kind of like hook towards you, and able to join the house.
Mm.
But
Okay,
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, but
Aspiring art student, aspiring author, like art student, aspiring author, aspiring firefighter, pro surfer.
Yeah.
yeah, it could
I
be
feel like you can tell that like each person has like some sort of goal. Like like I guess that's just the common thing in Japan is that everyone's just very goal oriented.
Mhm.
Right.
Because that's like rooted in their culture, I guess. So like that's probably like another prerequisite, or maybe it's not. Hey, you don't know, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, it's interesting. And then taking a huge step back.
Mhm.
I know we've already kind of talked about it, but like the episode ends with the what I would say is the best scene of the episode, which is
Yeah.
definitely the Shota and Tetchan scene, where you know, Shota's like, "Yo, so who do you like?" And Shota's like, "Okay. What if I whisper it to you?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, for sure." So Tetchan's like, "Yeah." Whisper in his ear. Shota's like, "Ah, yeah. So Rie."
Your face
Exposes
is
him.
Yeah, man, he gets exposed, and that's hilarious. I can't wait to see what happens if they watch
Oh,
first
I was
episode
thinking
back.
that too. Oh, Rie
That could be
hears it.
interesting. That could be very interesting. That could be like plot changing right there. But yeah, and then that kind of caps off the episode. So any final thoughts on the episode? Or I guess what are you guys, I guess like Tim and Cheska specifically, like what are you guys expecting now that you've watched the first episode? Like what do you like predict might happen?
Yeah, what's gonna happen in episode 2?
Well, the Momo and I keep forgetting his name. Tetsu? No. Shoto? No.
The art studio?
Firefighter guy.
Firefighter guy.
Uh,
Techan.
Techan.
Techan. Yeah, Techan and Momo. I'm calling it. Sometime down the line, something spicy is gonna happen between them two. Yeah.
Ooh.
And I don't think Rachel is gonna do anything. I think being a J-pop star, AKB star, I think like as much as she said that she wants to have the genuine Terrace House experience, I don't think that's gonna fly. Like, I think she's got her goal of being like a pop star. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think, Cheska?
Chess.
You said that they can leave whenever they want, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Rie is gonna leave first, just because of her, just because of her being in a J-pop group.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like maybe the people that are managing her group would not approve of it anymore, so that means she would have to leave.
That's so interesting.
Oh.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. I think Masato is gonna stir something. I don't know what, but I feel like it's gonna happen.
You really think he's a grimy
There's something
kinda
about
guy?
him.
Is it because he's a pro surfer?
Yeah.
Is
Like
that it?
what do you see that's
Yeah.
wrong with him? Like
Like,
what makes him slimy?
Grimy.
Grimy.
Oh yeah, grimy.
I don't know. I feel like he's so dry. And then when I saw his facial expressions whenever people try to talk to him, it's like it doesn't seem genuine to me.
Ooh.
So, I mean, this is just me like with all my extreme dramas from American reality TV, but I feel like Masato might stir something in the future.
Okay.
But
the
yeah.
Stir the
that's-
pot.
Yeah.
Damn.
I kind of
Okay,
see that.
okay.
I kind of see what you're saying about he's kind of slimy. Like, when they were doing the toast, like everyone was expecting like
Yeah.
a good like, haha. He's just like, it was great meeting everyone. Kampai.
Damn.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we're reading in too much to that, but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll
Okay.
see, but that's my prediction.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
There's
agree.
there's one person that we're not really talking about in all these predictions, and that's good old Shota.
Shota and
You think
the
anything's
other.
gonna happen to
right.
the guy in the relationship?
I'm like hoping for the best. That's what
It's either it's gonna work out
That's
or
what
he's
I
gonna
think.
get dumped. He's gonna get dumped. I
Ooh.
feel like
Yeah.
because like here's the one key thing is that he knew going into Terrace House there's gonna be like models and like I guess like pop stars, right? And he purposefully didn't tell his girlfriend till after he got there. So I mean, yeah. And if his girlfriend watches the first episode of Terrace House, then he just exposed himself, and yeah.
Well, what did he do though? Really, he didn't do anything unfaithful. He was just being himself.
Well, he withheld the truth, and I mean, withholding the truth is no go.
So you
That's
think during
true.
the time when they met and everything, he never called her until that point, like at dinner, like after dinner, like late night? I was like, oh, that's my girl. I gotta
Wait,
call
did he
her.
call her or did she call him?
Oh my god. Good
Oh,
point.
we don't know. We don't know.
Oh, good point.
We
Right?
don't know.
Who took initiative?
Bro, that's crazy. I actually never thought of that. Bro, that's intense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
alright.
neither.
Okay.
That's intense. Oh, we should also probably let you know that like no one knows who else is going to that house, right? So I guess at that point, like Shota didn't know anyone that was gonna be there. So it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
guaranteed that it was gonna be like models and stuff there. But I feel like because there's that one part where Momo when Shota was talking about how he has a girlfriend and how Momo was talking about like, oh yeah, like if I knew that my boyfriend was living with models and stuff. So I feel like in maybe like the application for Terrace House, maybe it's like one of the parts is like you will be living with models and celebrities or whatever. So maybe he did know.
It's like a side, like a fine print.
Yeah.
You might
by
be
the
living
way.
with eccentric characters, hence models, people with interesting jobs and occupations. And an aspiring firefighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more Sena.
Yeah, she was very
Honestly,
passive.
I
Like,
want to see more
yeah.
Sena for a person that's the model. Like, there was a lack of, I guess, personality, or maybe they're just not showing enough of it. Other than it seems like she's a very good drinker.
Yup.
She's always like lit.
modeling world.
Yeah, she's always lit. She was the first one was like, yeah. I'm like, who's dancing? Like, I want to see more of that because everyone seems so like, I get it. Everyone met each other and it's kind of just like, yes, cool. And like Sena seems
Yeah.
to be like pretty natural and just be like, yeah, da here and there. And like there was even that conversation with Momo and like Sena when they were drinking, like, let's be friends. Yes, let's. Clink clink. That's so interesting to me. I don't know why, but I want to see more of that. But I do agree with Cheska about the surfer being slimy. I don't know. It's 'cause, yeah, I get that bravado or like that personality. Like, yeah, he's too quiet. I don't like him. He hasn't shared enough.
He's up to something.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
conniving.
I mean, like he has that like surfer kind of like vibe, but I feel like like it's the laid back vibe of a surfer, but it's like a little too much, to the
Yeah.
point where it's like it's a little sus, it's a little suspicious.
It's like he's hiding something.
Yes, you're
A
right.
body in the surfer in the surfboard.
Now, how many surfboards did he bring? How many
I counted
surfboards
7.
do you need?
Yeah, it was at least 6.
Oh my goodness.
It fit the
That's
whole
a lot.
hallway. But I don't know. Maybe
Hey,
you need that
man.
much. Maybe like you need one board per day. Like I don't know how it works.
He has his
Maybe it's
Monday
like ball
board
shoes,
here.
like different ones for
Yeah.
different times.
That's basically the end of the episode. It's been quite interesting. I guess we're gonna go to the next segment.
Snap.
We're gonna go to the Terrace House subreddit. And we're gonna find something related to what just happened to this first episode.
Without
Yeah,
finding
so,
spoilers for the other episodes.
We're gonna try our best.
Yeah. So I spent basically like this entire week going down the Terrace House subreddit, and I found, I guess, like 1.5 posts here. One of them is just began Boys and Girls Next Door, and there's some thoughts. It's mostly on Sena, and basically
Oh.
talking about how young she looks.
Yes.
How old is she?
Because yeah, she's 25. So I think even
Oh.
then she was still the oldest one in the house. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which is wild. And yeah, that's basically it. But then there's one other post, and it says, watching Boys and Girls Next Door for the first time, and my God, the music. Straight box. I've been jamming
Yeah, it
for
stands out.
hours. I mean, like, we've talked about the music, but hey, man, we can go right back into it. Like, the music was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it was very fitting as well. Like, I like the Taylor Swift song. Like, yeah, it was probably very expensive, but I felt that, like, other than the lyrics, because the lyrics were kind of off in terms of the chorus, but just like that beat, that constant like beat just going, like I felt that was very fitting. And there's threads talking about the lyrics of I don't practice Santeria.
Yes.
Santeria, oh my God.
They played that during the surfing scene. I'm like, wow, getting it. I get the vibes.
They played really well.
Yeah.
They played Radiohead at like when they're in the rooftop. I was like, really watching the sunset. Like, I think it was No Surprises.
Yeah, there's actually a part in the thread that says it's one of the reasons why Boys and Girls Next Door is the best season. It's because they're not being hamstrung by Netflix and American law, so it allows the editors to really go crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
More freedom.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I know we've only watched an episode, but I mean, like, there's another season that I regard pretty highly. And there's of course another season that I'm just like, whew, no. But we ain't gonna talk about that until another
Till
time.
we get there.
Um, yeah. And it says like, so it says here, it's like it's impressive how both or it's impressive both how eclectic the soundtrack is, but also how they're able to weave certain songs into certain dramatic situations. So even just like the part at the end with Shota and Techan, as soon as Shota says Rie's name, they hit a they hit I don't know what song it is, but it's like it fit, and I was like, bro, that was funny. It really got me hyped.
Like the ending? You talking about the ending
Yeah.
part,
Not like
or
the very ending, but like it's as like as Shota says so Rie-san, and then Techan just like freaks out. I swear they had a soundtrack like behind that, didn't they?
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So even just like the mood music, kind of like they're really good at editing that in.
Yeah, I agree. Later on in the seasons, especially the ones in Netflix, the music is rough.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Like an example would be like there's like a fight, and it's just like, why are they playing like really angry music? It's not even that bad of a fight.
Oh.
Like yeah, it's rough, but yeah, they're it's interesting to hear what kind of music they're putting it into as the soundtrack, especially for this first season. So I'm excited for that.
You can
Yeah.
actually find a playlist of Terrace House on Spotify.
Snap.
Like I just looked it up right now. So
Ooh. Okay.
But yeah, since we only watched the first episode, there wasn't that much that I could really find in terms of today. But yeah, but that's all that I could really find on the subreddit.
And yeah, before we go, we're gonna do the plug section. So we're gonna go around the round table. And yeah, if you wanna get your stuff out, here's your chance. So, James, if people wanna find out more about you, what can they search up in the internet?
Oh man. Well, all of our socials are gonna be in the description, of course. But you can follow me on Instagram at JamesJT_27. Of course, I also have my personal YouTube channel, where I do a lot of covers. I sing a little bit, do some musical stuff. And that's just it's my name. You'll be able to find it. Just look down below. Yep.
Awesome. All right. How about you, Tim?
I mean, if you want to find out more about me, I guess my IG is Timbit TIMBIT 1997.
Cool, man. Cool. Oh no.
Add him on LinkedIn.
He froze in my
He
screen.
froze.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's okay.
Well, he already said his plug. Okay. How about you, Cheska?
Oh, wait. He's back. He's
Oh,
back.
there's
He's
more,
back.
there's
he's
more.
back.
Also-
He's back.
Also, check him out on LinkedIn.
Yeah, check him out on LinkedIn.
What?
Oh yeah,
LinkedIn. Oh yeah, LinkedIn
He's
guys.
looking fresh right now.
Get
Oh
me
my
a job.
How about you, Cheska? How can they reach you?
You can find me on Instagram, Cheska Camille _. If you guys want, I have a TikTok too.
She's a resident TikToker.
I am your resident TikToker. Hey, but you can find me on TikTok at Chess Camille. So yeah.
Cool. And yeah, I do Twitch. If you guys like seeing people play video games, check out twitch.tv/forjiggles. Yeah, I do a little bit here and there. And yeah, IG too, at for Jason. And yeah, you'll see at the bottom of the description. This has been an episode of We the Panel of the Terrace House Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in the next episode. All right, guys, take care. Bye.
Bye. And roll the outro.